Hello everyone, I'm Shantakumari. Today we are going to see about biological rhythms. Introduction. Chronos means time, biology means study of life. Chronobiology is a field of biology that examines periodic phenomena in living organisms and their adaptation to solar and lunar related rhythms. The variation of the timing and duration of biological activity in living organisms occur for many essential biological processes. These occur in animals, for example, eating, sleeping, mating, hibernating, migration, cellular regeneration, etc. In plants, the leaf movements, photosynthetic reactions, etc. And third one is in microbial organisms such as fungi and protozoa. Then chronobiological terms are the biological clock, biological rhythm, circadian rhythm, and circannual rhythm. First, what is biological rhythms? Biological rhythm is one or more biological events or functions that reoccur in a time in a repeated order and with a repeated interval between occurrence. These are the ways that organisms adapt and live with the environmental rhythms around them, such as the spin of the earth, the movement of the earth around the sun, and the movement of the moon around the earth. Biological rhythms allow an organism to harmonize successfully with its environment. Types of biological rhythm. These are all two types. One is exogenous and endogenous. Exogenous is the biological rhythms are driven directly by the environment or another external influence. Like for example, the hopping of sparrows on a perch when a light is turned on. Then endogenous. Endogenous is the biological rhythm are driven by internal biological clocks and are maintained even when environmental cues are removed. For example, the wake-sleep cycle and the daily body temperature cycles. This is example for biological rhythms. Then biological clock. Biological clock is the internal physiological systems that track the environmental rhythms responsible for generating biological rhythms. And true biological clock has four characteristics. One is endogenous, second one is temperature independent, the ability to be reset, and fourth one is internal continuous monitor. Endogenous means it gives the organism an innate ability to maintain periods of a particular length between biological functions. Then temperature independent, a very unusual situation in biology but an essential characteristic to avoid biological rhythms being governed by weather. Biological clocks have the ability to be reset in order to maintain a relationship with environmental cues. Then biological clocks are an internal continuous monitor of the passage of time, allowing the organism to keep track of duration biologically. Functions of biological clock. There are two functions. The capacity of the biological clock to free run, like operate without external cues. The ability of timing signals known as Zeitgeber, German for time giver, to synchronize the cycles to environmental signals. Common Zeitgebers include light, temperature, and social cues such as clocks, sound, or physical contact. A biological clock is said to be free running when these external cues are removed. The average free run period for circadian rhythms in humans is 25 hours. Thus, if isolated from outside input, people tend to go to sleep 1 hour later each day, quickly becoming out of sync with the rest of the 24-hour based human world. Examples for biological clock. First one is sleeping movements in plants. Certain plants such as tamarind trees or Mimosa pudica, etc., close their leaves at dusk and spread their leaves in the light. The sleeping movement is caused by the biological clock. Then photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a biological rhythm. During daytime, photosynthesis takes place daily. Egg laying in hen. The hen lay its egg in the morning hours of the day between 6 a.m. and 1 p.m. After 1 p.m., it will not lay the egg even though it has a fully matured egg in its cloaca. It retains the egg inside till the next day morning. Then flowering. The white flowers such as jasmine and lily open in the night and close at the dusk. Insects and bats. Insects are active in the evening hours. Bats that feeds on insects are also active in the evening hours when the insects are most available. Caged bats under control and constant laboratory conditions continue to show this sort of activity about every 24 hours. Then secretion of nectar in insects. Some plants secrete nectar at certain specific times of the day. Insects which have their own biological clocks visit these flowers at these times. Then migration. Migration of birds is caused by the biological clock. Then sleeping and awakening in man. Sleeping and awakening in man are caused by the biological clock. This is example for the biological clock. Then circadian rhythms. Latin word circa means about, dies means day. The most extensively studied and best understood biological rhythms. Rhythms that fluctuate on a 24-hour time scale are known as circadian rhythms. Physiologic or behavioral cycles over the period of 24 hours produced by endogenous pacemaker. Franz Hallberg, who coined the word circadian, is widely considered the father of American chronobiology. The best known circadian rhythms: body temperature, hormone secretion, metabolism, sleep wake cycle. Then properties of circadian rhythm: ubiquitous, cyanobacteria, plants, rodents, humans. Endogenous, persist in the absence of environmental cycles. Circadian rhythm can further be broken down into routine cycles during the 24-hour day. Diurnal, which describes organisms active during daytime. Nocturnal, which describes organisms active during nighttime. Then crepuscular, which describes animals primarily active during the dawn and dusk hours. For example, white-tailed deer, some bats. This is example for circadian rhythm. Examples of circadian rhythms: the sleeping movement of plants, the sleeping and awakening in human beings, flowering in lily and jasmine, laying of eggs in hen, activity of insects and the preying of bats, photosynthesis in plants. Thank you for your listening.